So LeBron became the all-time scorer in the history of the NBA.
Incredible.
Last night, the 38-year run of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the leading scorer in the history of the association came to an end last night with Kareem there and the Lakers rolling it all out. His family was there, and it was quite a moment.
Yeah, it was.
And I think it was obvious that it was a moment that led to the Lakers potentially having a letdown in the game for Oklahoma City, winning that game. But I think the fact that there's even a conversation today as to whether LeBron is the greatest scorer in the history of the NBA still, even with him having the all-time record,
how's that a conversation?
is kind of just open. Oh, well, you're not on Twitter anymore.
Well,
you're the Rich Eisen social media
Would you have called Kareem the greatest scorer ever just because he had the record?
Kind of. I would. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you weren't alive when you watched when he was playing.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, if you score the most points, you are the greatest scorer.
I don't know about that.
Then what's your definition?
Michael Jordan has the highest points per game average in NBA history. To me, that's the greatest scorer in the league. He scores the most every game.
All right, well, that's.
I like Chris.
I won't argue your argument.
Can't disagree with that.
I think it is.
And this isn't an MJ LeBron thing. I'm just kind of looking at it.
Even though you just made it that. That's the same thing as Trey Lance. Look, I'm not taking anything away from the Eagles, but I just called their NFC Championship game win and not a real win.
Well, scoring the most points
not a real game.
is also a credit to both Kareem and LeBron's longevity.
Of course.
Points per game is what you do when the game's playing.
How about this? How about this? Then let's, if you want to not have an argument, in my estimation, even though we just had an argument in a way, or a conversation about him not being the greatest scorer ever, since he is the greatest scorer ever, and he's going to put up 40,000 points when it's all said and done. That
more than that.
I just was sitting there last night watching him, be with his beautiful family, and seeing him, after the game. There was a video of Bronny showing him his phone, like the video of showing his dad. Here's the moment where you broke Kareem's record, and all I could sit there and think of was being on the SportsCenter set years ago, coming on after one of his high school games was broadcast on ESPN, and him being on the cover of Sports Illustrated as the next chosen one.
As a junior,
as a high school player. And having him discussed as one of the best basketball players on the planet, potentially before even being drafted. Yeah. And talking about him on SportsCenter back in the day when I was in my, early 30s. And here I am, a 53-year-old man, that he's the greatest scorer in the history of the NBA, that he is maybe... You can say arguably, but I will just come out and say out of the maybe. I'll remove the maybe. Screw it. He's the greatest player to live up to the hype in the history of players living up to the hype.
No, all of sports.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tiger is the only one in that world. I guess maybe. You could, that's the only one that would give me pause to throw the maybe in there, because LeBron, I'm talking about his high school games being on ESPN, and Tiger showed up as a 3-year-old sinking putts for Bob Hope on the Mike Douglas show, which again, I know I'm dating myself, but so he was as a 3-year-old kid out there, but nothing beats the spotlight of SportsCenter being thrown on you. Yeah. And Tiger had the same thing thrown on him. But LeBron also didn't have any Thanksgiving moments. He has been, just from start to finish, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, livers up to the hype ever. And you're never on TMZ, never doing anything but the right thing.
Even just no injuries, like nothing really has derailed a year or two.
his beautiful family, out there celebrating his moment.
It was cool.
In front of Kareem.
It was actually a lot cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Really,
we all watched together.
Yeah, we all get caught up in, I guess, what we started the conversation with, which is like, is he the greatest scorer of all time? There's Jordan, there's Kobe, there's Bill Russell about the greatest winner of all time, and who's this and who's that. But just in terms of kid having high school games aired live on ESPN, drafted by, of all teams, his hometown team. Yeah. And the hype that he had to live up to. Why, by the way, when Kobe was at his zenith and when others were, who he has since passed on the way to passing Kareem, being not only active but all-time greats. Wearing Jordan's number to start. All of it. You got to give it up.
It's very Tom Brady-ish, too, when you just talk about longevity. Like, guys started their career after him and retired before him.
Yeah. Yes.
And he's just still going. He's still at the height. If the Lakers had a better record, he'd be in the MVP conversation. Like, he's really having a phenomenal year outside of this.
Yes.
That's kind of been looming over the whole season.
And, I was just sitting there thinking of that last night. It's another one of those sports moments where I sit around and I think of Stuart Scott and wonder what he would say and what he would think, as LeBron passes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Again, he's going to have 40,000 points. He may have 40
more.
He's going to have 42,000 points when it's all said and done.
He may set this so 5 years left, you would think.
Right. Well, he did say after TNT said afterwards that he wants to play at least a couple more years.
Did you think he was going to go hook shot? Because we kind of
skyhook, right?
We kind of did, yeah.
Well,
to set the record?
It's kind of interesting just to linger on the moment itself, because there's a still photograph that's gone viral, and we have it, and it's just this is a moment that I think could be a painting, and you can hang it in a museum,
hang it in the Louvre, as I like
because
to say.
Here he is shooting, his shot. And there's a couple things about this that is amazing. First of all, you want to talk about a 21st century moment. Yeah. Everybody has their phones out, and they're watching the moment through their phones, with the exception of, as you could see at the very bottom right of your screen, the richest man in the arena.
Yes,
by far, Phil Knight of Nike is sitting there with his hands in his lap, like, okay, I don't need to take out my phone.
He's sitting next to Bryson Bronny, which is so cool.
I don't know. It's truly unreal of him just sitting there with his hands in his lap, and pretty much everyone else has their phones out. And then another, I guess, 21st century moment is Thomas Bryant, number 31 at the bottom of your screen of the photograph, calling for the ball. Like he's posting up SGA like, hey, I'm open. And this reminds me of the old Adam Sandler bit about Wilt Chamberlain breaking the record of most points scored in a game, his 100-point night. Adam Sandler's joke is, Wilt is got 96 points, 98 points, timeout. They go to the huddle, and one of his teammates looks at Wilt and goes, hey, Wilt, I'm open. And it's one of my favorite jokes that Adam Sandler tells. I thought about, Thomas Bryant, okay, brother, he needs one more bucket to pass Kareem. His whole family's there. Everybody's expecting it. Like he's going to hit the open man. Got it.
But
okay,
Rich,
terrific.
That's LeBron's whole career. There's probably a 40% chance he may have passed the ball to Thomas because that's LeBron's game, and if he thought he had a better shot.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, if you just look at this snapshot, if Thomas Bryant has got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander underneath
should have got the rock.
Honestly, LeBron should have actually gotten an assist on this play, but come on. I just love how he's like, hey, man, I'm open. And then all I could think of as well for this iconic photograph is that the kid who's asking for the ball is named Bryant. And
pretty good. I didn't think about that.
In Los Angeles, he shot his record-breaking shot. His record-breaking basket was shot over a teammate for the Lakers named Bryant. And I honestly sat there and thought to myself, that is wild. Like, you can't make that sort of stuff up.
He wears number 31 like Kurt Rambis, who has nothing to do with this, but I just figured.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, Kurt had something to do with it because, he's in the Lakers front office. But we don't want to go there on this wonderful Laker day. So there you go. I mean, this is a shot that
really
everyone's talking about today. And
also just kind of the way he ended it with F, man. Like, thank you.
Oh, that was
something else, that was hilarious. Like, everything about it was just cool.
But like you said, since 16, no one's had as much pressure as him. When you figure the amount of people who want this man to fail, for as many people
pulling him in so many different directions.
Yeah. We're in the camera phone situation. Every time he leaves the house, someone's got a camera on him. Yeah. People are waiting for him to trip up. People are waiting for him to do something dumb. And
dude, we parsed this 3-word tweet earlier this week.
Yeah,
maybe it's me. And we legitimately did that, I think, because it is a story, what he thinks and what he tweets to his gajillion followers. And that is the life that he leads, and he has led it remarkably well. And, the guy clearly, has his faults and things to criticize him, about. But for somebody to come into the league the way that he did, and the fact that he still has more of a story left to write, we all know he's going to play with his son. I mean, like, that's going to happen. Yeah. Like, whatever it takes, it's going to happen.
Wherever it could be. I mean, it could be in Orlando. It could be anywhere.
It's going to happen. Like, that literally is. We all know this on this day, and we just don't know when that's going to happen.
Yep.
And he is, as we said, when Brady retired for good. Earlier,
I see how you used air quotes.
I did use it because you have to. That he retired for good. That it's now LeBron's sports world for us to wonder about his end game, how long he can keep it up at an advanced age that nobody else is able to look like the way he looks and plays. Like, it is very similar to Brady, and just the winning of the championships. That's the question. Can he win another one like Brady while he stays active longer than most people think, like Brady, playing at a high level that nobody else had ever been able to play at such an advanced age like Brady? That might be the next movie, I guess, like Brady. I don't know if Lil Bow Wow can reprise his role. So that's the way I'm looking at it.
You'll
right
have
now.
a part in that movie, though.
I did. I just got to actually open a residual check before leaving here
for Mike.
For I think it was 85 cents.
Oh, Rich.
It was Ocho Cinco. It really was. Not kidding. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.